look back at the whole spring to this point, like how have you felt compared to what your expectations were?
Good. I mean, I think the thing I've always looked at spring as like there's got to be a task at hand to get done, And I think whether it's the development of the roster, whether it's really going through the scheme from the off season and making sure you're checking the boxes that you want to get done, implementing new things, and at the same time being able to get guys to play fast. I mean, that's the biggest intent for me, and I think that we've implemented some new guys. We've talked about it all spring with the guys we've added to it. Have we improved those guys? Have we added value to the roster? Is there better depth? And then there's a handful of things, a laundry list of stuff, I should say, that we wanted to get done offensively. Whether it be up reps and drop back pass, work certain control passes, work in different protections, work some different concepts. I think we've been pretty diligent with that. My OCD is pretty good at keeping track of that stuff. So I do like what we've done in spring. I like that. I like the juice and the energy that the new guys have brought to it, and I think that's got to be able to take one more practice and carry that over into summer because that's when they start carrying themselves.
When spring practice started, what were your expectations of what the running game was going to look like, and have those expectations been met?
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, I think it's finding out what these guys are capable of doing athletically, because regardless of what kind of play design you have, you still, in my opinion, got to fit it around the players, and that's how we've always been, is who do we got, players first, scheme second, coaching last, and that's the way to put it. And I think matching up the scheme with the players is something we've done. I got a pretty good feel on some of these guys and what they're capable of doing. I think that I feel good about that. We're not throwing out our offense, obviously, but I feel like I've got a good feel for what these new backs are, what Kanye feels good with, what I need to develop in that regard, whether it be run game, screen game, or pass game. To see man as a true freshman who should be at prom this week probably, to see if he's able to do some things, first of all physically, because as a guy coming in early, the physical piece is the biggest gain. The speed of the game is you can't help that, but the physical piece, can he hold up in certain situations? Seeing Ray Leak back in a regular role with a lot of reps, his conditioning, is he back from his little tweaks? So I've been fired up because I felt like I got a good feel on what these guys can do, what their dominant traits are, and where we can go in the summer and say, here's the things we need to really hone in on.
And then what about with Shimon, but like the growth, even the new tight ends, talking about new guys coming in. I mean, obviously getting to know your offense, but just this growth they've had all spring.
Yeah. The tight end room is another room. You guys know we played. There's not a down. We're not usually with the tight end on the field. I don't think one snap last year in the 1,000 reps we had did not have a tight end on the field or two. And so those guys understand how significant they are. A guy like Shimon who's only been in the system 1 year, to be able to have year two, the game slowing down, the system feels better, and to bring in new guys with that, to bring the new guys with that, to bring in a young freshman, AJ, and be able to say, here's how we play, here's how we attack this position. Be multiple with them because they're all pretty athletic. Create some mismatch and see if the mismatches that we think on paper should match up, if they can handle that. So we saw some of that, which is cool. So I think that being able to control the edge of the formations with the tight end are big for us. And those guys playing in the middle of the field and matching up so far have been awesome in spring.
Is there anybody that's really surprised you, maybe come out and been better than you thought they would be?
I don't think naming one guy. I think if I was to name a group, I think the freshmen we have adapted really quickly. The early freshmen have adapted really quickly. They show up. Like, they're not guys you did not see in the spring. Like, they're not guys who enrolled early, a majority of them, and you didn't see. Even when you talk about early linemen, young linemen, the same thing. They're harder to see because they're never in here in front of you guys or in the paper, or their stats, or But to see the young freshmen we recruited to be able to come in and do things athletically and mentally in the system right now have been really cool.
How well have things operated with Ben Coleman at center now from the beginning of spring to the end?
Good. I think the most exciting piece of that is, we try to apply a lot of pressure onto Ben, and Ben's already applied a bunch of pressure on himself. And so you almost are like, all right, well, he's put enough pressure on himself to get this done. You see him in some dark hours, early, late, here, snapping, when we're not around, non-practice days, working at center. And that's when you're like, okay, they get it. They understand the intent. They understand what it's going to take. And Ben's investment in that has been awesome. We're not there yet. It's the first year as a center. We're not there yet. But I think you add a summer profile to it and then a fall camp, and I think it can be pretty special.
On Monday, Kenny was asked about where Sam has grown the most throughout spring, and he said in the quick game. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, we've made a big effort in the control pass game. Part of the development of the quarterback in the system we have, and the system I've been a part of and raised in, is in year 2 and year 3, the hardest thing to get a quarterback to do out of high school or a young guy is understand the control passing game and timing. whether it's in the NFL or not, rookies or whatever. The best thing the veterans do that have been part of it, they understand the control pass game, the first and second pass game, and protections. And so that's always a big piece in the quarterback development is in year 2 is I'm going to settle you down and understand timing, rhythm, depths, protection on first and second in case you have to get to that point, because I think that's where you can make that next step. Those guys, young guys and guys like Sam, they're easy to get out. He'll easily get out of the pocket. He'll easily go one and run. That's part of being a freshman, and I got to dictate how to control that, how to teach that. And I think the quick game and control passing game, there's no question that's been a big uptick.
So that's really the understanding the why, not just the what.
Understanding the why, not the what. That's exactly right. Why we do what we do, and in that regard, why we're doing it, what the regard is to first and second down passing, what we're going to do, ramping up the reps, making it I put a number on it before camp that I want to be up at least 15 to 20% on first and second drop back game to force the issue and teach it. Otherwise, I don't know how else to get what we need to get out of it.
Has Jaylen Moss been the what you hoped coming in with the experience that he's had?
Jaylen Moss is exactly what we thought. He's exactly what we thought. A experienced guy who's tough, who knows the pass game. I mean, Coach Tedford, who I called first, was right on, man, spot on. Obviously, I didn't know him like family, so he'd never probably lied to me, but he couldn't be more right, as he usually is.
When you have shaping up with all the new guys emerging?
I'm at which room?
Receivers.
Good. I think that's a group that's got a lot of new faces with JT, especially sitting for a lot of this, and resting him. And so there's a lot of timing, a lot of learning, a lot of growth. And I think summer and fall camp is really when those guys start to become a really tight nucleus, you know. And so excited about those guys. I think we've got some guys outside who are going to be able to help us.
When you talk about the freshmen hitting the ground running, what are some of those traits you're trying to identify when recruiting them as high schoolers that they have that aptitude to really get in and it's not too big for them?
Yeah, I mentioned that when the one thing that was sticking out, that the physical piece is the piece you're like, okay, physically early on, will they be able to have the demands of this level of football? You know, will a guy like Man or a guy like AJ, how do they physically come in and be able to stack up? The next piece is the mental piece, the aptitude of we're not a high school offense. Can they pick this thing up? You know, and I think we got to be smart as coaches. That's where the piece is. The freshman, Harry, another guy who's playing wide receiver, who's shown up a bunch. Every practice he makes 1 or 2 plays. For those guys to come in and do what they're doing right now says a lot about, number one, where they're at, their coaches and what high school they're at. I mean, cheers to all those coaches and those staffs at Orange and places like that we got these guys, Oklahoma's and all the places that are teaching these guys ball, because we didn't teach them that before you got here. They came in, they've done a good job applying what they learned, and coaches doing a hell of a job with them. But I think when you're looking at a high school kid, you're trying to find out physically and mentally, can he fit in? Right away, that's the first piece, minus the individual skill traits.
What do you make of the Clayton Smith reps at wide receiver, and how fun was that?
Yeah, I no comment. I don't get fined.
He looks like he wanted to be out there, man.
Y'all, he wants to be out there. No question.